I have good news, my friend. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Hello, this is KRBrickBot. And did you know Carbot turned 6 this year? So among the very first was Grandeur Hawk. And in all those 6 years, we went from Grandeur Hawk to just Facelift Hawk. Among other things, a whole bunch of other things. Okay, now comparing the boxes. This is a lot more red than the subtle reds of the Grandeur Hawk. So the word mark styling is still there, except hexagonal background instead of a tire background. And facelift. And I really didn't mention this, but it looks like these new photos of Chathand all have that new cube watch, replacing that old watch. So coming to the back. Yeah, it looks like the same stock photo here, except photoshopped. And either the grandeur description or the character description or the character description. Same stock photos, except this one that looks like has been digitally re-altered. The top view had a film strip of some screen caps from the TV series, Grandeur or not. But the facelift is just the same uniform, pretty plain robot and car stock photos. Side of the box is pretty similar stock photos as well. And this has a date of June of 2020. Okay, now to get to unboxing. Machine guns just stuck in there. Double girder. And hand girdered. Right in there. So, Hawk is still looking pretty much the same, except for the different car chest, obviously. But as I said in my Fron review, the plastic feels significantly different. Just smoother. Well, this feels smooth, but this feels slightly less shiny. Yeah, this feels really reflective. This one, not as much. Like from Vicky Co. plastic to Taime Toys plastic. Okay, so the big obvious difference, the chest, which you can possibly make straightforward, which really kind of makes it weird because he has a very blocky torso, so that's why they cleverly have it slightly hinged down. Anyway, the facelift grille difference, instead of this Grandeur's vertical grille, it's just a really simple one single line grille with some black painted in there. It's kind of generic. I think this could be a common grille design for some generic cars. Maybe I would have liked for this to have actual turbine fans in reference to his chest tornado. Yeah, so I'm not sure how well that thing's supposed to fly forward. Yeah, like this. Yeah, I guess he just blasts a whole lot of air out of his chest. Other than that, the lower grille here, as you can see, has been generically redesigned. Not sure about the fog lamps though. They look just about the same. And the headlights, the transparent black headlights. While these are pretty smooth, now the facelift has two big circles. Like primary lights and secondary lights. The head's still looking good. I guess some very nitpicky differences in paint tone, but the paint layout is the same. And I guess Hawk got his name from his very beaky faceplate. And maybe the rooster-like red things on the side of his faceplate. And I guess he doesn't quite look like a traditional Transformer because his head is like a crown. It's kind of outlandish, super robot-like. But the other weird thing about Hawk's head is that it looks rather small compared to his giant car slab with cleavage window. I mean, it looks like it's a perfect thirds of the division. That looks rather small compared to the rest of his body. And I guess that's because it has to make ways for these back pylons that I'm not sure what they're for, just for looks or alignment and transformation. Not that I think it actually has to align. Yeah, so maybe if the head was a little bigger, it would look better, but I guess it's okay as it is. The arms look kind of short compared to the long legs, but they are simply functional enough. And he has some show doors with some extra little winglets which can fold out all the way like that, or click in at one. Or fold them in all the way, or completely pop them off. Yeah, some nice little options for looks and aerodynamics. Yeah, they're mounted on this red paint here and little outward arm. On these rather thick upper arms with some painted yellow in there. No biceps, of course. But even though this is looking hollow, it still has some nice details. There's even a little wire running in there. That's a very nice subtle touch. And elbows have soft ratchets on them. Yeah, seams they click harder when going inward. And he has a little wrist swivel side to side, whatever good that does. Yeah, so this arm is just about the same, but it looks like this has been tightly screwed. And no clicks when going back. And looks like they omitted a paint decal from here. Yeah, these were supposed to be silver pistons, but it's all blue here. What happened there? The legs are absolutely smothered with tiny red accents all over. They're all painted here, like the red lines in here, and the kneecaps, and in the thighs, and also in the inner legs. And in the inner legs. Yeah, they really made sure this was not really hollow looking with two leg parts. The arms are slightly hollow, but other than that, this was pretty solid back in the day and today. Yep, it looks like this new version's paint got really runny. Really runny splots right there. On to the design, yeah, the legs have some very deep cutouts. Very deep multi-layered cutouts. With some red in there and some little pistons, painted pistons on the legs. Not that they actually function, but they do look pretty neat, and some silver central paint foot. Yeah, pretty nice looking legs, what can I say? Which do the forward 4 clicks and backward 5 clicks, slightly clearing the back kibble. Really good ratcheted spreads. And a thigh and a knee joint that's only at 45 because of this stuff. Which frankly have these unsightly looking blocks on the side of the back of the thighs. Are they for alignment again, like these things? Yeah, but they kind of break the sculpt of the rather curved front of the legs. Yeah, I mean if this thing was level, that would look better, but it looks kind of a little ugly, just this thing sticking out like that. Maybe if they made a cutout, but they don't do cutouts, and 2 clicks on the transformation foot. Of course, his main weapon is a machine gun, although frankly this looks more like a railgun, a literal railgun. or sniper rifle. Yeah, so that just goes in the hand like the classic 5mm. But for weapon storage, well, it folds out like this to store in the car mode, but the only tabs are in the inner of the legs. So you just store it on like this, and yeah, you kind of leave something between his legs. But what I like to do is just slightly unhitch this and just kind of just jostle it in there. Just nestle it in there and click it back on his butt. Yeah, that fits in pretty snug. Visible but snug. That's a nice coincidence of weapon storage. Wonder if any kids thought of doing this or just chucked it out of existence. Transformation. Weapon storage. Click it in. Double click. Be sure to slide these panels down. I guess that's why there's wrist swivels, side to side wrist swivels. Yeah, just click it all in there. Fold that in, turn it around. Yeah, I'm sure this thing was most confusing for kids. When to pull out these tires on his little waist there. And when to put them in because they kind of clash with the arms. Yeah, so just spread them out like that a little bit and fold the legs like one click and be sure to line it up in there. And then slide the arms and tab the arms on the black tab into the tabs on his legs. Oh yeah, and yeah, you have to make sure, I think you have to put the arms in first so that these little rear view mirrors clear the window, and then, yeah, then tousle the armed legs in, making sure to keep that window tapped in. And then you can have a aquatic vehicle mode, or extended steering mode. Or just, yeah, put it back in, tab it back in. And then the little tabs on the wheels here to the chest, just slide that right in. Ah, the Hyundai Grandeur HG330 Celebrity, the 5th generation of Hyundai Grandeurs. It's like a premium luxury car, from what I heard. And it's knockoff thing. Something that looks like it, but not quite. I guess the grille can make a difference in the styling and shape of it. And the bonnet, when it had two curved divots inward here, it's just like a rather simple angled line upward. Yeah, just a very simple division there. Undercarriage stuff is, yeah, pretty much there. But what's on the torso here is it has like little pistons and such that you could possibly imagine as part of the car underside workings. But yeah, that white torso block is kind of really noticeable there. Yeah, maybe if this thing was slightly curved upward. But it is what it is. The wheels are looking substantially different. Very different design. Like bigger spoke gaps. And tinier spoke gaps in here instead of just a thick line, thin line. And the side. Yeah, a very simple line right here. Instead of like the softer lines and one thick line ridge here on the Grandeur. And no gas cap. What's with some of these cars not having gas caps? It's like cars that don't need conventional fuel. And it looks like the handlebars have been kind of reduced here. They're kind of a little smaller. They don't stick out as much. And the rear, the most important part of the car. Whereas the Grandeur had this thin line, this entire tail light that goes all the way across, Yeah, I kind of wish this was red or something more that could break it up. This is one solid line. It's just no change in elevation. The side looks similar, but yeah, the entire back it just kind of looks like one straight tail light. Not sure where the red and yellow blinkers go. And no place for a license plate. They didn't even put the signature Hello Carbot license plate on the back here. How is anyone supposed to know this is a Carbot other than the very noticeable Carbot symbol? The rear exhausts are looking just about the same. This one is slightly bigger. And the roof is looking pretty similar as well. No extra stuff or such. Well, yeah, it has all these little scuffy, scratchy stuff right out of the box. I don't think the factory is handling the windows and the parts assembly as well as this. Yeah, these scratches are gonna get kind of a little annoying to look at. Also annoying is the paint flashing. While I do appreciate it has the silver trim, unlike formerly Avante Fron or Elantra Fron, there's a little bit of run over here, and on the rear view mirror. That is some terribly shoddy quality control, Time A toys. Fortunately for my completionism, Hawk is like one of the only original Hyundai Carbots that didn't have a secondary emergency redeco. Because really, do you want to see a Grandeur as a police car or something? But it still had its own share fare of redecos back in the day, so this is now an episode of all of them I've got. Every single Hello Carbot Hawk I've got, and pretty much every single major Hello Carbot toy. So this thing also came out in red. So this is Hello Carbot Grandeur and Hello Carbot Grandeur R. Because the very first toys released, he wasn't called Hawk. They were just Grandeur, like Santa Fe and Grandeur, just regular Hyundai cars that took the form of robots. I bet you didn't know that. So those were the very early days, but then eventually when the proper series premiered, they were given names. The Grandeur, aka Azera, still looks pretty slick in red. So Grandeur Hawk Red brings more than just a simple palette color swap from blue to red and the accent colors of red to yellow. It also throws in a third tertiary color like a gray that really makes it look more mechanical or down to earth. The gray lower arms, the shoulder joints, the wings, the inner torso, the inside of the legs, and the rifle, which looks much more militaristic and realistic in green than the bright yellow. And there is a subtle but significant difference between Hello Carbot Grandeur and Hello Carbot Grandeur Hawk. Basically a functional running change. So these little waist wheels, they look like if they were handled the wrong way, they could snap off, right? Yep. The early designs of Grandeur's wheels were double ringed, so they were just asking to be snapped off at a jiffy by reckless kids who could not figure out how to kerfuddle that thing in there. So it looks like the Grandeur Hawk and all subsequent versions of the mold, it's a much more solid ring there around the pin. So there's no way that that's going to snap off by force easily. So this does feel like a Diaclone Hawk. Just a simple recolor just for the sake of being a toy robot. If I had a fan name for this, I would just call it Red Hawk. Or maybe just Grandeur or Azera. Or whatever you would like to call him. But by far the best color scheme in my opinion was this limited edition black version. Recycled in the not Grandeur Hawk. Well, at least I have a storage solution for this. I got this about 2 years ago in time for Black Friday, which since then I have exchanged the parts for brand new shiny parts. And it really is a completely different feel. It feels very luxurious, like a really premium item. And it's not an evil color scheme because those gold accents. It's not just black, it's also cast in a similar shade titanium gray. And it even has black Japanese like screws so that the silver screws don't stand out. That feels like a really premium thing, and also a very slick black railgun. And some actual light piping. Neutral light piping. If you get a different light in there, you can change its eye color. And look at this luscious beauty of a car mode. The Grandeur in all black, it really pops out. It really makes a statement. Especially with the transparent headlights and the transparent clear taillights. And just plain transparent plastic and not the smoky black. Oh yeah, this feels really good. And they even have the painted pinwheels in black. Oh yeah, this really feels premium that kids have underappreciated. Yeah, so if only I could get separate pieces for the headlights and taillights and then remove the glue from this and then put those in just to make this Grandeur look better. But yeah, easily the best redeco of the Carbots ever. And finally, we have an undersized Hawk from Hello Carbot's Chinese market, bought from Sir Toys, with an identification number of HCL003. So this thing didn't have to go through a facelift, except for the Carbot logo there. Yeah, so this looks like a pretty good undersized Grandeur. More solid rear view mirrors. Most of the silver trim there, none of that is there for cost efficiencies, I assume. The wheels are actually slightly different. It's as if they've just been simply reused from some other car. And this little thing even has the Hello Carbot license plate on there. Why didn't they on this one, I wonder? Or the newer one? And comparing with Masterpiece Bumblebee, yes, that looks like a really good Masterpiece size. Transformation is similar but simplified. For one, it is much easier to pop out the arms, since they're not held under the windscreen. So you can have a car with sticky outy arms. Yeah, so that doesn't click nearly as well, but it does click in once you get in there. And the weapon storage is different because the rifle here, it's now one piece. There's no folding bit. As such, it runs entirely lengthways and it kind of locks the leg together. So you really had to make sure to pull the gun out first before transforming the feet, or else you might bend it. Yeah, the windscreen around here. Show doors. The little rifle. That's all you can get. Let me just transform this back into robot mode real quick. Behold, how most kids transform in mode. This is exactly what a Hasbro employee would do should Hello Carbot actually do actual physical toy stock photos like this. It looks about the same, but as usual, this thing is quite cheaper to keep the cost down. A lot of paint apps bye-bye. No reds. And the same monotone color blue here. Well, yeah, the inner legs look pretty fine, but the lower legs are completely bare black and only one hydraulic suspension piston instead of two. That kinda breaks the luck. Yeah, but the kneecaps, the red kneecaps are still there on only one side and not double-sided. Yeah, this still has clicky ratchets forward and backward. But no thigh swivels! Why does this thing not have any thigh swivels? This thing has thigh swivels, why not this? Why not? And it's connected to the very short-looking torso. It's looking very even shorter. And it's just black. It's a black torso with some red smattered on the front. And the car chest is connected to a yellow block. That is super simple since it's not a collapsible chest. This is just as it is, and it doesn't have the unique feature of the wheels folding in down like that. And consequently, looks like these little mud guards here had to go somewhere else, which they went right here. Which kind of ruins his silhouette and shoulders because they're permanently angled downwards and not a perfect horizontal plane or upward. Yeah, he's just stuck like this. No double hinge. Or you could just fold it down like this, but that doesn't quite look good either. Yeah, the doors. I don't like the doors. And plus, if you try to swivel it like that, it gets caught in the right in the crevice between the windows and the shoulder. And is it just me, or are the arms looking so much more shorter than the regular one? And of course, these don't slide in. And it's just a simple two-piece. Yeah, I mean, the lower half is more predominant than this upper half and lower half. As such, he has black hands. And not nearly as enough arm bend as this. Or is it about the same? And yeah, the heads look like it's pretty spot on. Yeah, the same paint apps and same shape. It's just that it looks a little less interesting since it's all yellow and not an extra bit of white in there. Well, at least I guess this Hawk better scales with Pentastorm. More or less. Hawk is one of the two major Helloka봇 flagship characters, and his popularity apparently still endures today, as Ace and Hawk are the two most frequently reissued Carbots. So after a 2019 brief hiatus, he finally comes back with a facelift just like every other single formerly Hyundai Carbot. So basically all of this has gone into the kids' toy boxes or some secondary market or in a collector space. And this is the only thing available on the market now. And this in China or Sir Toys. So if you try going to eBay Shop Korea, they still have the latest 2019 version, which is quite a bit of a fraction of the real Grandeur, even though that specific one is not a Grandeur. So you might have to wait to get this on eBay or just go to one of the Korea's shopping sites itself. But I predict this will be one of the first facelifts to go. But yeah, still a popular character that maybe if he does sell out, he might get another run, this exact facelift run again.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe and maybe interact a little more. So until next time, this is KRBrickBot signing off.